The public can soon take part in virtual tours led by museum curators and join in online workshops like traditional pastry making. That's all part of the latest digital initiatives from the National Heritage Board. And in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, the board will also be launching a digital edition of the Singapore Heritage Festival for the very first time. And for more on these digital offerings, we're joined by Jervais Choo, Deputy Director for Organisational Design and Innovation at the National Heritage Board. Jervais, thanks for coming on. Firstly, let's talk about a virtual exhibition that's going to be made available to the public in 2 days' time. We understand that it'll feature National Museum's recently concluded exhibition, An Old New World. Tell us more.
Yes, so this was a landmark exhibition which features the personal collections from the families of Sir Stamford Raffles and William Parker, treasures from international museums around the world, and highlights from the national collection. So the exhibition explores Singapore's rich history in the 200 years leading up to the establishment of the British East India Company trading settlement in Singapore in 1819. So what we have done is we have now brought the exhibition back digitally through an immersive and interactive edition that we are launching on Wednesday. So it's entitled An Old New World Digital Edition, and it's designed to change the way visitors experience digital content. It marks one of our first forays into the virtual exhibition space, and visitors can now explore the exhibition from home. The experience kicks off by placing users within a 360 capture of the gallery, where they can choose from two ways of navigating, either a guided mode or a self-exploratory mode. And in the guided option, essentially we have two special tours led by our curators, Daniel Tam and Iskandar Maidin, which explores the themes of knowledge and power and seeing the indigenous. Well, the self-exploratory mode, of course, allows you to just navigate through the galleries at your own pace. We are adding other content along the way, so we are looking at adding education-based content to allow students to also conduct their virtual explorations, historical investigations. And all this is available on Wednesday on our Heritage Board's roots.sg, which is our heritage portal, and also, of course, on the National Museum of Singapore's website.
Okay, so how different is it then to curate online content versus physical exhibitions? How do you decide what goes digital and, what doesn't?
Well, with online experiences, the first thing really to determine is what we want the user experience to be and which mode do we expect them to use to access the exhibition. So for An Old New World, we decided that we will design it for users of tablets and laptops, which is of course quite different as compared to somebody accessing it from their mobile phones. This was primarily because the visual breadth of the exhibition was something we felt we wanted to capture, as it had an almost cinematographic feel to it. The other thing we had to determine in the digital curation is the details of how visitors navigate the content. So we didn't just want to throw visitors into a digital space, but we wanted to pay special attention to create little elements that help them navigate naturally. So the way the scenes from the tours transit from one artifact to the other, the viewing distance to the artifacts, the way the scene pans across, and even ambient noises are deliberately captured. And of course, I mentioned the guided tours, which was something we felt was essential to still retain the personal connection between our curators and the digital audience. We have also added a simple but inclusive feature which allows for the transcript of the curators' tours to be displayed so that visitors with hearing disabilities could also enjoy the tours. So these are little elements that we pay special attention to in the digital edition.
And in view of the COVID-19 situation, the Singapore Heritage Festival will also be going digital this year for the first time. What are some of the programs the public can look forward to this time around?
Well, this is the first time that we'll be introducing a digital edition of the crowd favorite festival, and while we won't be able to gather festival goers the usual way, we're very excited to let SHF fans continue to uncover lesser-known stories of our heritage online. So through live streaming, video, and other digital formats, the public can enjoy iconic elements of the festival, such as online tours, exploring lesser-known spaces and places in Singapore, which has been a mainstay of the festival, as well as digital workshops featuring our intangible cultural heritage such as belacan making and pastry making. So as always, involvement from community partners and Singaporeans are key to the festival, and some of these digital offerings will have a participatory element such as watch parties for people to come together online. So Chuan Chi Bakery, for example, is back again for the festival this year, but instead of conducting face-to-face workshops, they will share their pastry making skills online. So just to note, an online festival experience will naturally differ from a physical one, but the diverse stories of Singaporeans will still be shared with festival goers, and hopefully even more now that they will be accessible online.
Okay, so we know that NHB has also started pushing out some digital content for a while now. So what kind of responses have you been getting so far?
Well, digitizing our heritage content so that more people can have access to it has always been one of our priorities, and the public has been very receptive so far. So supported by, of course, MCCY's Arts and Culture Resilience Package recently launched, we will be able to further boost these efforts and at the same time generate demand and create opportunities for arts and culture groups, production houses, freelancers, and community partners. We aim to support the arts and heritage sector through digitalization during these challenging times. Heritage and culture really define us and the human spirit in times like this and can be a source of inspiration. So we really hope that the digital offerings that we have lined up will provide a much needed culture boost to uplift spirits for all of us at home and allow us to take the opportunity to learn something new about the world around us, even as we face this challenging period together.
Indeed, something to look forward to in 2 days' time. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Jervais Choo, Deputy Director for Organisational Design and Innovation at the National Heritage Board.